Just wanted to say hi.
Oh, hi.
I think I got kind of bit by a dog.
You got bit.
I don't think we should have it in that.
Why? I think it's funny. I think it's awesome. Morning, everybody. Hope everybody just watched the controlled burn film. Put a lot into that. That's kind of been the culmination of, well, Nick and I dreaming about working on something together for the past 6 months or so, and talking to Lululemon and excuse me, and ultimately getting a little bit of budget to do that so we could fly Nick up and do the whole thing. And I'm just like so happy with how it turned out. But we figured like everybody needed a little bit of Paula, you know, couldn't go 2 weeks out without Paula.
I don't think many people know about this live stream.
That's fine. It's okay. It's not like 100% the priority, but we wanted to hang out and chat and catch up a little bit and answer any questions anybody had about the film or just life or anything. We've got a couple new things that are coming out soon. Let you guys know,
products.
Let you guys know that we're still working on that kind of stuff, and
Flynn,
also,
come.
You know, training's going pretty well too. So,
does anyone have any questions? Because we don't really have a very good plan.
Don't have a super set out plan for this one. That was all filmed in Bend. Yeah, that's actually, I would call that almost our backyard. We live pretty close to this park called Shevlin Park. And that just kind of so happened that they've been doing a lot of controlled burning of the forest to like thin it out and everything to make sure that wildfire season isn't so intense. And I just thought it would be such a cool spot to show off and visually really exciting. But we go run that loop from our house like, 2 or 3 times a week.
The end sequence where I got bit by a dog was like kind of stupid to include, but we were basically at the dog park with a really friendly lab. And I was trying to take his toy away from Flynn and give it back to him because we had to leave. And of course the lab like bit my hand and the ball all at once. So it wasn't that serious, but it did hurt.
Chad, you're asking what you can do to try and enjoy running more. For me, running, it really comes down to like being consistent and like building up your fitness gradually and at a reasonable rate so that it's not painful. You're not doing too many things where you're like over your head, and obviously getting injured is the thing that takes the most fun out of running. So I would try to just set out a plan or whatever that is reasonable. And I think running on trails is the hack versus running through a neighborhood.
How is the Bike Cave garage coming along? It's pretty much, I'd say, completely ready. We have a couple more things from Zwift that are being sent here. A couple of big TV screens that we can put up in front of our bikes so that we can ride Zwift with the TV instead of our laptops, and some iPads for the treadmills. But otherwise, it's like completely ready to ride and train out there. And we're basically ready for another lockdown. We have everything we need to do swim, bike, run at our own house. There was a little clip of us getting the endless pool or the master spa a few weeks ago, which we haven't had installed yet just because electricians are hard to get in Bend. So that'll be next month, but we're really excited to get that set up as well so we can really have like the full swim, bike, run all in one house.
Yeah. We've really been wanting to do a whole reveal of our like home training setup and everything. Just like with coronavirus and the Bend housing situation so intense that electricians are literally 2 months out to book one. So that is coming. We're really excited. But
have you used a trainer with Flynn? He seems to do really well. We're actually, it's all us that trained him ourselves. He is a really good dog. We're like constantly impressed with how well he listens. There's little things he does that make us annoyed, like 5:30 in the morning, he licks our faces and he's ready for his walk. But in terms of listening to us, he's really good. And I think getting him during the pandemic when we were with him 24/7 really helped, because anytime he did anything bad, we could instantly correct him. So yeah, he's a good boy, but he's a lot of work still.
He's incredibly good. When we take him running with us, we'll usually have him on a harness or whatever, and we're kind of trying to tell him to heel, but we have a bungee leash as well. And when we went for a run with him a couple days ago, he was off leash and he came running by and I just yelled heel at him, and he actually stopped, not on the leash, and ran right by my side for 2 minutes. And it was a borderline magical experience. Let's see.
What's your number one choice for a point and shoot compact camera?
No idea. Sony ZV-1. If you want to do video, it would be the ZV-1. It does we filmed our videos on it for a month and a half when we dropped our last camera, and made me question going to the super nice camera that we currently have because it worked so well. I take it on bike rides. I still shoot all of our bike footage with it. Recommend that. I use Final Cut Pro to edit. Nick did all the color grading in this. He used DaVinci Resolve to do that. For people who are curious, we kind of tag teamed the edit. We both I came up with the ideas for the shots and everything. Nick filmed, and then I did the bulk of the editing, and then Nick kind of finished it off, and it was like a pretty cool experience. Have I picked up a new gimbal recently? No. Nick has a new gimbal, so we were using that. TTL, bib, and jersey. We are working on bike kits. The bike kit process, like I'm super picky about design and everything, so that's kind of going kind of slow. But if you follow along on Instagram, we'll be running a couple more polls on like the different kind of concepts and layouts that we have.
I just want to show you really quick the next line of stuff we have coming out with TTL.
We're freaking out. This is so cool.
We have women's tights that have the logo on the side, kind of like in a shiny logo, and gray tights with the blue logo. And these tights are super soft. They're so comfortable. I've been wearing them all the time. They're great for running and just for hanging out. And then we got this shirt.
This is kind of like, it looks cotton, it feels a little bit cotton, but it's actually kind of tech material, so you could do yoga if you wanted to. We're gonna call this whole thing, I'm thinking, the après line.
And then we have two women's like kind of cropped hoodies, have a hood on them, and a gray one with the blue logo. So keep an eye out for these in the next couple weeks.
Yep.
Super nice, cool stuff. Unfortunately, it's women's only at this point, but hopefully we'll add some men's similar stuff to the mix pretty soon.
This is kind of a step in the new direction, or the direction that I've always wanted to go, where we're getting stuff like pretty custom made. Like we picked out this exact fabric out of swatches and the ink and the whole cut of the thing. And it's like, it's super exciting to kind of have something that's like truly 100% we created. So.
Yeah, the tights are cool.
Yeah, the Nick flying the drone in the forest, it was nerve-wracking, but no crashes happened. My advice for someone who wants to start videography, I would just say start. Like get a GoPro, just use your cell phone, whatever, and just start filming things and then putting it on your computer and seeing what it looks like relative to how you thought it was looking in your head. And like start with iMovie, just like lowest barrier entry, and just like start practicing. Because I've been doing this now for like 6 years, and it's taken that long to get to the point of what you just saw. But it's just kind of through learning and practicing a lot.
We've had about 5 questions about our next race.
Oh yeah.
Racing. Oh yeah, triathlon. Yeah, we're racing Des Moines 70.3 on June 20th. Really only because that's like the only race in the US in the next 2 or 3 months. So we have to go do it. Unfortunately and fortunately, I don't know. It's a really competitive start list again because there are no options. So basically everyone in the US or even people from Europe are coming down for that race. So I think that's the new normal, is like every race that we go to, where we used to be able to have a couple easier races in the season where we were kind of more likely to win or podium. That doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, we're gearing up for that. Not overly excited about that particular race, but I think the races I'm more looking forward to are the Collins Cup and St. George World Championships and some of the races in the fall that have, I don't know. Yeah, races that I'm more excited about doing, but that's the next one on our schedule. So 3 more weeks till that.
I'll be doing Xterra Beaver Creek after, like a few weeks after that. So, but July is like this kind of big, crazy open space where we don't really have any races to do. So maybe we'll kind of hit a couple more QOM attempts, or, try to get a little bit creative to have fun while we wait for, Collins Cup.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if we ship to Germany. I'm 99% sure we ship to Germany. If you've gone onto our website and tried and it didn't work, like send us an email or something and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we definitely do ship to Europe. There's only a couple countries that we've had really bad luck getting stuff sent to, so we've kind of shut down shipping. But if our checkout system lets you put your address in Germany, and it'll send there. So might take a couple weeks, but it'll definitely arrive.
This is a good question for you. Shoes for easy pace / long runs.
I don't know. Neither of us have shoe sponsors, so we can wear whatever we want, but I've kind of been loyal to Nike for my whole life. They sponsored me back in the day in like 2010 to 2013 range. So I really like their Infinity React shoe. It's not super supportive, I would say, but it has a lot of cushion. And I don't know, I've had really good luck with that shoe the last couple of years, not getting injured. So I know there's a lot of factors that go into not getting injured, but I think footwear is one of them. So since it's worked for me, I do a lot of my running in them. And I actually also do a lot of tempo runs. They're not a fast shoe at all, but I find if I wear those and then go and wear the Vapor Flies or Alpha Flies for a race, those feel like a million times faster. So it's kind of fun to train in something slower and race in something super fast.
Somebody asked if we're planning to do a training camp or something like that. That is like totally something that we would want to do. We've thought maybe like a weekend or something like in St. George where we, you know, can kind of have 10 or 15 people out. We'd want to keep it a little bit smaller just so like we can give a lot of attention or whatever. And now that COVID is less of a thing, that would be cool. But if not like this year, then definitely in the future, want to try to bring what we're doing here like into the real world and see as many people as possible.
Yeah,
races.
Or in Canada, maybe in Canada.
That would be pretty fun. Canmore Camp's got a nice ring to it. So with your super long travel days, how do you stay limber, avoid injuries from sitting so long? Lots of stops. Luckily, like with Flynn has to go to the bathroom. Flynn has to walk. Like we want to walk. So I'd say like when we drive to Tucson, we probably end up stopping like every hour and 15 minutes or something between gas and bathrooms and pretty things and flying a drone. And we are not the fastest road trippers, but
yeah. And then when you're doing airplane travel, we really like taking our like Hyper Ace. We're not sponsored by them, but
that's like
their massage gun is really cool.
Gun.
I find like that's like the number one tool out of all of the recovery tools that I think is really effective and easy to travel with. And same thing on an airplane, getting up regularly, drinking a lot of water, and then getting on the time zone pretty quickly when you get there. Even if it's just flying across the US, the 3 hours can sometimes throw you off, but getting onto the new time zone as quickly as possible so you can race effectively there.
Yeah, ideally eating a meal, not taking a nap the first day, trying to get your rhythm going on the new zone.
Do you eat sweets and junks during a training camp? Yeah, we eat a lot of
What is a
bad
training
food.
camp either? Anyway, like I feel like our life is perpetually a training camp, but as we get closer and closer to a race, I think like we'll cut out, you know, having a beer every other night and try to have less sweets. But
I don't know. We train so much that we get so hungry and feel like we'll definitely have chocolate every day, or I don't know. It was my birthday last week, so we have a huge cake that Lindsay Corbin made us.
If you're in Bend,
so we just like slice a piece off of that 5 times a day.
Yeah.
The music while running is interesting. I actually I would not run without music on the treadmill, on the track, on long runs. I had to have music because I found it like drowned out my breathing, and I could actually go harder when I didn't hear how hard I was working. But since switching to a new coach a few years ago and just getting a little fitter and realizing that hearing yourself breathe is actually a good thing, because I'd get into a race and I'd panic when I would hear how hard I was working because I wasn't used to it. So now I absolutely never run with music except on the treadmill. I think it's also a little bit safer when you're running out on trails where there's other mountain bikers or runners to be completely kind of aware of your surroundings, and also having Flynn needing to keep track of him. So I don't know, I'm not against running with music, but I do think there's some value in not having it all the time. And I almost use it as a crutch. So the treadmills are so boring that's okay to have it then. But running outside, I think it's good to get used to hearing yourself breathe and hearing your footprints and getting into a rhythm that's not dictated by music necessarily.
Yeah. Someone asked if I have a shoe sponsor. I don't. I just have a really good friend who I met on a bike ride at Adidas, and he's been giving me shoes for years, and they work for me, and been pretty stoked with that. So same as Paula, it's really nice to just have something that you know and you believe in, even if there's not a financial component to it, because shoes are so personalized.
Getting on back to swimming after a long break. That's actually interesting because obviously we went through that as well. It feels like a long time ago since we haven't had access to a pool, but when we first started swimming again, our sessions were fairly short, like 3K or less, partly due to like time restrictions in the pool, but we found that was completely enough to, Nick, you're distracting us with your text. That was enough to get a good workout given our fitness. Like we did a lot of like core and some stretch cores and stuff to stay relatively strong in the upper body. Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's what disappeared the quickest was just the feel for the water. We were still really fit, but just not strong anymore. So slowly building up our mileage, not even looking at the clock. That's a good tip too. Like don't look at what your times are. don't worry about how fast you used to swim. And we actually found it came back way faster than we expected. Within 2 or 3 weeks, we were swimming basically the same as before the pandemic. So it kind of has relaxed our mentality towards swimming now, because we feel like we don't necessarily need to swim 5 or 6 times a week. 4 is fine. And we both grew up swimming, so we do have that luxury of being a little bit like having good technique and not losing a lot that way. But we're a lot more relaxed about swimming now than we used to be because of that experience of having time off.
Yeah. One thing I would say that I wish I'd done through the whole pandemic while we weren't swimming was just like some basic stretching, like streamline and just like your classic stuff. I feel like if I'd done that for like 5 minutes a day while like watching YouTube or something, then it would have come back a lot easier. But I have noticed just like kind of a noticeable lack of like less flexible in the water when we first came back. So somebody said they're like stagnating on their run pace or something. And the first thing that popped into mind for me on that is hill repeats. I've always found that doing like shorter, like 30-second hill repeats earlier in the season, anytime in the season, I guess is fine, has helped a lot. Like as hard as you can go. Sprints, like just 8 of them. That's really good for like opening your stride up and getting a little bit of extra glute activation and stuff, which can, I think, kind of disappear if all you ever do is train at 70.3 pace.
What qualities should an age grouper who wants to be competitive in their age look for in a coach? I think having a coach that's very understanding of your lifestyle is important. And I think coaches who are more, who coach professional athletes who, like us, all they have to do all day is swim, bike, run, versus someone who has a family and a job and needs to be flexible with their training and maybe train less hours than they would ideally want to, is important in making the most of the amount of hours you have.
I would say that different coaches are better for different people too. You kind of got to interview a few people and see if this is the type of person who's going to like really be pushing you and you want to be pushed, or if you want the type of person who's kind of like just keeping you active and is a little more laid back, because different things work for different people. How
many times a week do you practice yoga? In an ideal world, I'd do a little bit every day. And when I'm in a place like pre-pandemic where I have a yoga studio that I love, I'll go like 2 or 3 times a week. Like I really, really like it. And I think it has a lot of benefits. When I get out of that routine, it's hard for me to motivate myself to go do it myself. So I don't know, even if I could do 5 or 10 minutes of kind of like stretching and yes, Mom, we're still going.
As long as we keep having people here and questions asked.
We'll cap it at 20 minutes.
All right. 2.5 minutes ago.
This is a live chat, Mom. This isn't a vlog. Any videos on strength training? We don't really do a ton of diligent strength training, but we should. So maybe to motivate ourselves to do it, we'll do a video of our normal exercises. How many brick sessions do you do in a week? Thanks, Johnny D, for the donation. Lately, because of races kind of being in race season, our coach will give us a hard ride on Saturdays with just a really quick 10-minute race pace run off the bike and then 20 minutes easy. So it's not like a really intense run off the bike. It's getting into your 70.3 pace, feeling like you can get your run legs after doing a hard bike ride. We'll do that once a week. So that's it. No more than one. Heather Jackson, however, who we train with a lot, nearly every time she rides her bike, she'll run off of it, whether it's 20 minutes or an hour or what, she'll always be running off the bike. Like we rarely went for a bike ride with her where she wasn't like on the treadmill right after doing a run. Yeah. So everyone has preferences. And
I think that might be a little bit of difference between 70.3 and fulls as well. Like you just have to be so good at continuing to move while you're exhausted for an Ironman. Like from what I can tell, having not done one.
Do you have a watch sponsor? Not officially, but we're sort of beginning the partnership and working with Wahoo. It's not official yet, but we have been using their watches, their bike computers, and obviously their kickers. And we love all of the products. So they're a super cool company and hope that soon we can kind of formalize a partnership with them.
Why did we move to Bend? If you watch the video that we just put out, that's like the whole reason that we moved to Bend, because we wanted to be able to go trail running essentially from the door, have lots of options. And the second reason is because all of our friends are here, with Lindsay and one of my friends, Nate, from way back in the day, and Heather and Waddy and Matt Lieto. It's like such a cool community of people here that are all doing what we're doing. We don't feel like, total insane people at the pool.
How did you connect with your merchandise supplier?
Through somebody who's a fan of the show. Yeah. Somebody who just reached out to me when we started talking about doing a brand, was like, hey, I work at a company that does some printing and stuff. If you're looking for somebody to help out with that. And that was pretty instrumental in us getting off the ground.
This is a different company.
Totally different.
But they send all the products to the place that prints most of our stuff, and they do all the fulfilling and everything. Back in the day, we were like considering fulfilling ourselves, and it would be literally impossible to do now that we know how popular it is.
And just being on the road, you know, we wouldn't be able to ship stuff out for a couple weeks at a time while we were at races or whatever. And just to,
we get a lot of emails every day about restocking and when we're getting new stuff in. And we try really hard to keep on top of it. It is we almost need to hire someone to work just for the clothing side of things, because things go out of stock pretty quickly, and then it's hard to get, you know, the blanks from the suppliers and everything. So it is a complete, almost a full-time job, and we're trying to train and do the vlog as well. So yeah, thanks for all of your patience. And we try to keep some stuff up at all times, like the bottles and the hats, and this stuff's coming soon, all this Tolic and stuff. So
we will have, like along with the kind of yoga type stuff, we're gonna have a couple hats coming out. This is just like kind of like this retro style trucker. We'll be putting these back out. These are going to be ready pretty soon. And then we'll be doing a special edition of this. I don't think we're going to do this exact one unless everybody says they want it, but we've got this circle logo in a reflective thing. So lots of cool stuff on the way. But as we go through the race process, it's hard to keep on top of.
How much of the house is still yellow?
None.
Only the garage door on the outside coming into the house is yellow, just to remember what it was like.
Inside garage doors are still mustardy.
Yeah. Yogi triathlete. Hi, guys.
Oh, awesome.
Hopefully Clark is watching too.
I hope so. All right. I think that's about it. We're a little bit over on time. So if you got any last minute questions, fire away. Otherwise, we'll shut her down. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, it was a little different this week. The video that Nick and Eric did was amazing. We want to say a huge thank you to our friend Nick, who flew in during like a really difficult time in his life. He had a lot of personal things going on, but he still made the time to fly out here for 2 days, made the most of it, worked around our training schedule, and then still got out every day to film for hours with Eric and get all those amazing shots, helped with the edit, coloring, music, everything. And he's just like the most fun, uplifting, happy guy to be around. So having him here even just for 2 days was so awesome. So I know you're listening, Nick, so this is kind of cheesy.
And hopefully crying.
But truly, thank you so much. That was amazing. I didn't have anything to do with the video this week aside from like making Eric his dinner while he edited, but it was super, super cool. So I hope you guys liked it as much as we did. Yeah. Stop it, I'm crying. We're gonna cry.
And thanks to everybody who's tuned in here and watching and hanging out and who watches every Sunday. Like it's so cool, and it's why we do the whole thing. It's just this connection, this community, and everything. So we will see you guys next week for the regular
scheduled programming. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.